Thanks for watching another edition of The Catch Up here on Cris Cyborg's YouTube channel. I'm joined once again by Cris Cyborg today. Cris, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having us again here, and I'm very excited for today.
Yes, we got a lot to talk about, so much to get into. But first, I always got to tell people, hit that subscribe button on the channel. We do the show every week, so you don't want to miss an episode when we're posting it. So got to mention that. And just a big thanks to our audience. A lot of really great feedback on last week's episode as well. We're getting the hang of this thing here, Cris. It's been a lot of fun doing this so far. So we'll get right into it right now. 11 years ago, back on August 15th, this was last week, you had your fight with Gina Carano. I saw the memory come up on there. That was, and still is, one of the biggest women's fights of all time in Strikeforce. What do you remember about that fight? Because I remember how monumental that matchup was with you and Gina Carano.
No, the one thing I remember is I know it's a history fight. First time to have main event, women's MMA fight for the title, and the moment is the most fight people watch the fight, and for me, I was very very excited because people don't know too much about me. Everybody sharing for Gina. And for me, it's the moment that I want to show who's the cyborg, and after the fight, Shayna Baszler fight, her had more 2 fights, and the people call me the killer machine. But, I have nice memory from this fight. I think this fight opened a lot of doors for me.
How many more fans did you get after that fight? Because I just remember that, everyone was watching that fight, and obviously Gina was a huge star, but I think in a way it elevated both of you. It was the last fight in Gina's career, and obviously for you, you went on to do, Grand Slam champion things, so to speak. So, what was it like getting all those new fans after?
After the fight, I don't know how many fights, how many fans I got from that fight, but I know a lot of fans are still upset. Sometimes they receive some message about that fight. But I know I have a lot of girls still watch that fight and they start training. I hear a lot of girls, after that fight, you, Gina Carano, I start training, I want to fight. And, it's the most important thing after that fight to open the eyes of a lot of people, a lot of girls want to fight. And for sure, I get a lot of fans too, and they follow me too now, my career.
I mentioned Gina Carano. Do you still keep in touch with her at all? Because obviously, she's gone on to do movies, but she's someone you've kept in touch with.
Sometimes we talk each other. I was always telling her. I think the last time I talked to her, I said, let's be together. The day we fought the first time, and her schedule is very busy too. My busy, have the moment, but for sure, I want to put it one day we together for all the fans see us. And it's gonna be fun. She's a very nice person. And I'm very happy her success and doing movies, and very nice.
Last week we talked some boxing. We got some more boxing news to talk about. Jessic McCaskill getting that huge upset win over someone I know you've been linked to in the past, and Cecilia Braekhus. Is that a fight that you'd still be interested in at this point? Because that is still a pretty big name in the boxing world.
Cecilia did amazing. She's doing, for the women's boxing. And she's 11 years undefeated. And she's won every single title, in the boxing. And I was 13 years undefeated too, and I got all the fighters, all the belts from the MMA events. For sure, I think the fans would like to watch this fight. I'm interested for sure. For me, we're gonna be on her, fight her. I don't know what's her plan now, after what's happening, but I know she's a fighter. I want to really. I'm very excited to see before she want to retire anything. She try get her belts again, But for sure, this is the fight I think you'd be excited for all the fans to watch.
Do you think that's more realistic happening now because she did lose, just because this opens up to other opportunities before? Do you think it's a possibility?
I think sometimes, I don't know, but before she's saying she would fight me, she'd like to fight me because my MMA career messed up a little bit about to do the fight. But, I'm very interested to fight boxing, and I know I have to be focused and training only boxing, but for me, maybe this is make it easy, but I want to fight. She's champion. I want to fight. She's the best, shape. She in the fight mentally, everything. And I believe here. I believe she can fight again, get the rematch, and maybe get her title back.
We'll keep an eye on that for sure. Obviously, a lot of news with you all the time when it comes to the boxing world, just with your incredible striking. But we had a UFC card last weekend, UFC 252, the main event. Stipe Miocic successfully defends his title over Daniel Cormier, and there's a lot to unpack from that. But first, what was just your thoughts on the fight with Stipe? Once again proving his doubters wrong and getting the win.
It's a great fight. I watched the fight. I was really happy the Stipe won. I have a lot of friends coming with him, and I know after his first fight with Cormier, he's waited over 1 year to have his rematch. But he's continue focus and continue train, and he's after 3 fights, the fight Chad, he's won 2 fights. That already proves he's the best fighter, and I'm happy. I'm happy for the victory.
And I did see on Twitter, which, by the way, if you aren't following Cris, at Cris Cyborg, got to check it out. Always posting a bunch of different stuff, which is great. But I did notice you pointed out the gloves, because there was an eye poke in this fight. We saw Daniel's eye jacked up. We also saw Stipe get poked in the fight. The Bellator gloves are different. Why do you like them so much more? And why do you think they're more effective when it comes to eye pokes?
You know, when you see the gloves, from what the gloves UFC use and the Bellator use, the UFC gloves, the hands stay straight. Like, no, don't make your hands go a little bit down. And then when you see the gloves, the Bellator gloves, they make your finger point down a little bit. And, don't go straight to the eyes. And if it happen, help poke the eyes. If they poke the eyes in the MMA, it's very common, happen. And in boxing, they see too much, of course, because they cover the fingers. But this is very upset, because sometimes you're going to fight the opponent and you don't want to put the poke in the eyes. But some fight maybe try to do this. We don't know. We when you fight somebody, but I don't believe they do this because they want to do. But I think when you fight that and don't think about it, it's very nice when you have the gloves, help you not do. Sometimes I was talking to my friend, I say, if they have the choice to choose, what gloves do you want to use? Okay, you're going to ask your opponent, what gloves do you want your opponent to use? You're going to prefer ones easy for it can poke the eyes, or you're going to use one maybe can... Or you're gonna use the one that can help you for no have poke eyes, like little percentage off. I believe it's very nice. I think Pride use the same gloves similar to Bellator. I think UFC have to improve a little bit. I think it's a safe to all the fighters.
Yes, it's still an issue. I see it. I think it's like almost every couple cards we see it as an issue. So, they really, I don't know why they haven't made that more of a priority, but good to see Bellator sort of on the forefront with that, with the gloves, which is really great. Of course, in the co-main event, we had an upset. Chito Vera, someone who has worked with one of your coaches, Jason Perillo, getting the TKO win over Sean O'Malley. What did you think about that? And have you ever seen Chito train at all? Because I know he's based in California and works with your coach.
Yes, I have some trainings with him at the Ruka. We train together, and he's amazing, and I'm really happy to see his win. He's really worked very hard, and he's doing their best for his family. And man, he's a great example. He's work hard and payoffs, and I'm really happy to win.
And we do have a Bellator card coming up here on Friday. Awesome main event with Ryan Bader and Nemkov. But I wanted to look at the co-main event because it's a women's featherweight fight. It's great to see them continue to build up that division. Julia Budd taking on Jessy Mele. Before we talk about the matchup, how nice is it that Scott Coker and Rich Cho is making the women's featherweight division a priority in booking this fight, especially after the pandemic? It's good to see them get that going again.
This is, I always say for when I'm doing interviews, I believe is the 145 division, the women are going to be the best division. Have a lot of girls, and then heavy, they have a power for KO. I think is going to be the best division. I believe at the beginning, because as I was fighting 145, I strike catch weight, but really the goal is make 145 the biggest division. I believe the girls will walk and have them on other divisions, and to be healthy and to be great fights.
Do you think the UFC's featherweight division is going to stick around much longer? I interviewed Felicia Spencer, someone that you fought last year, and I asked her, I said, what's next? And she's like, I don't know. We're not seeing any fights booked, and the UFC's had plenty of cards. It really doesn't seem like they're signing anyone or bringing anyone in. And I know Amanda, obviously, taking some time off to start her family a bit. But what do you think about that? Because they just really haven't announced anything since Nunes's last fight.
The beginning, with UFC, this is the struggle I always had. Because I always say, you guys have to sign a lot of girls in 145. And all the time I say some girls, have girls 145, then Bellator sign. And then they don't sign. I think is the nice thing in Bellator now, they have a lot of fighters in my division. And the girls can go down 35 to accept to fight me. It's the real division 145. And I don't know what's gonna happen, but don't have a lot of girls 145 in FC, maybe have 4 or 3, I don't know. Or the girls go 135 and go up. And I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm happy I'm not there. I'm at Bellator.
Yes, and the nice thing about this fight with Bud and Mele is that Mele's actually a featherweight. It's not like she's coming up from 135. She's fought all over. I remember fighting for CES. I actually interviewed Jessy way back in 2015. That's how long she's been competing. What do you think about this fight? Because it's in your division, and Julia obviously fought you last. She's looking to get back on the winning track. What do you think about this fight on Friday?
I didn't watch Mele fight yet, but I believe, after the fight, I fight Julia Budd, she's going to become ready, for this fight and be ready. And I'm excited. I think she's going to try to prove she can deserve the rematch with me. And I'm very excited for this fight. And she's a long time undefeated champion. And I think she's going to go great. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm excited about it.
And switching gears here, if you haven't been following Chris's Instagram account, the Zoo account, which I love, the CyborgsZoo, I saw you got 2 more chickens. How many eggs are you going to have out of those chickens? Because obviously, that's a nice, healthy alternative to have the eggs.
Yes, I have 5 chickens. The 2 chicks have like one mohawk, very funny hair, and this polished chicken. And I have 3 normal chickens. We see can be probably 200 eggs a year, each chickens. And then they're gonna be like 1,000 eggs per year. And I don't think I'm gonna eat 1,000 eggs per year, but I believe my neighbors are gonna be happy. You're gonna have fresh eggs. But I love pets, I love animals, and it's very exciting. I'm learning every day with chickens.
And some more news, again, on Instagram. This is why you got to follow Cris, at Cris Cyborg. I saw there was a photo you posted with you and Bethe Correia, who is now a free agent. Would you like to see her in Bellator? Because she'd be another nice addition, a pretty notable name that's on the free agent market.
Of course, Bethe, we went to Thailand together, and I was doing one camping belt fits over there. And it's a woman's only. We trained together, and I had the opportunity to meet Bethe. I didn't know her before in Brazil, and I met her with a nice experience. We trained together, and she's a very fun girl, very nice. And Bethe, she's did 11 fights in UFC, and the 9 fights in the betting. She's underdog. All the girls she's fighting, and she's don't start beginner when she's kid MMA. She start late. But if you see all most main events, she did a lot of main events in UFC. She fought Ronda Rousey. I think when UFC released some fighters, I think because she's having over the 10 fights in UFC, and for sure she's getting more expensive. The other fighters have 1 fight. They're gonna make the first fight, then getting the fighters from contender and they go to the UFC. I think they think about how much money they're gonna pay, the expenses, and I think this is because Bethe should do excite fight. If you see the fight she did with Ronda in Brazil, she make motivate, she make excited, she called the girl out. I think she's very excited fight, and I hope she's signed with Bellator and they continue doing, the exciting fight for us. And I just say shout out for Bethe. I hope she's well.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. We had Contender Series last week, and there was 5 contracts on the show. I'm not saying they didn't deserve it, but you got to cut someone from the UFC roster if you're going to do that. So unfortunately, people like Bethe, they're getting released probably when maybe they might not have to get released, just because, like you said, they're trying to save a bit of money by the looks of it. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as Contender Series goes on. All right, so as we usually do on the show, I'm going to be learning some Portuguese here. So last week it was how to go to the bathroom. This week, I wanted to ask how much something costs. So you're going to have to help me out with this. We're going to have to go nice and slow because, as you know, I'm not great. My Canadian accent trying to learn Portuguese. So we'll start first with how much does this cost? So if I'm going to buy something, how would I say that?
You're going to say quanto custa.
Quanto custa.
Quanto custa. And then you can say qual é o valor também. You say qual.
Qual
é o valor.
O valor.
Sim.
Good?
Yes.
Not bad?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I'm just thinking if I ever go to Brazil and I want to buy something, I'm going to be out of luck. I'm not going to know how to, purchase anything. I might go hungry. So this is important stuff to know. So we'll just do it one more time. So
yes, you get something in the store, and they hold your hand and you can say, quanto custa?
Quanto custa?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, that's good. I'm going to write that down. I have to go back and watch these because I got to remember, but you're doing a great job. I think you should try and teach some Portuguese as well because you're doing a great job with me. I'm really liking it here. Before we go, we had some big news yesterday. We got to talk about it, Cris. Jon Jones vacating the title with the UFC, says basically he's not going to fight until he gets what he deserves. He's teased a potential move to heavyweight. I mean, I think what Jon wants is he wants to go to heavyweight, but he wants to get paid like a heavyweight. What was your reaction to that? And, it's pretty interesting Because Jon's one of the biggest stars in the UFC right now.
You know, I think the first thing, I think Jon Jones is bigger than belt. His big brand, you know, his big brand, everybody look at him, know he's the champion. I think his big brand, the belt. Even if the belt, no belt, everybody knows who he is. I think it's nice when he step up. You know, he's going to say, you know, because sometimes when you say, okay, I'm not going to fight, they're going to get another one. But he's Jon Jones, you know, and the people will want to watch his fight. And he say, man, I think I believe he's going to be an amazing heavyweight, you know, fighting heavyweight. And I believe he deserves too. He deserves the money. I don't know how much he's asking, but I think UFC have to pay what he's worth. Because it's going to be great fight. People going to pay. I think it's the money worth. If you can see the boxing guys, the heavyweights, they make huge money. You know, I think if you think about it, I think we deserve. We fight hard. We train hard. And he's long-time champion. And I hope UFC make deal for him and you can see Jon fight in heavyweight.
I think it's a little crazy too, just because Jon's been with them for so long. I mean, I have a poster here on my wall, you know, when Jones won the title, and it's just crazy that, you know, he's been there that long and they're not willing to come to a compromise there. Yeah, so we'll be keeping an eye on that for sure to see sort of what happens with Jon. Cris, always great catching up with you every week. I want to remind everyone again, hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel. Cris and I do this every week. We don't just talk about her fight career. We talk about news. There's a bit of everything here on the show as we're sort of doing these week by week. But in the meantime, Cris, anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, anything like that? We got the CyborgsZoo account on Instagram. We've got your Twitter account. We've got your Instagram account. Anything I'm missing? Anyone you want to plug here?
Now I say thank you for my fans. You know, I'm excited for the announcement my next fight, and make sure you guys watch Julia Budd. She's fight soon too. And you know, I'm happy doing this. It's very nice. I'm learning a lot too. Thank James for your patience too. And yes, I'm excited for next week.